The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. Good morning, everybody. My voice is a little harsh. I don't know what it is. It's probably a combination of getting sick and yesterday's interview, although I have talked a lot before, so I don't know what's going on. So you're going to have to bear with me. And if you're watching my American Robin live feed on Periscope and on Vim.tv, sorry, there's just a thing that was going on with an out-of-date Firefox browser, which was just restreaming what I was streaming. So if you want to watch the full live feed, I've uploaded it on YouTube. It'll probably show up in the next half hour to an hour after it's processing, or you could just go to DLive and you can watch it there. Okay, I'm gonna move on to this, which is kind of a I would say it's kind of a sad topic in ways, because, well, not really. I guess when you're getting to the truth, it's not sad, it's good, but there is always sadness in things. This is something that I would probably want to pose as a question to Marty Leeds, because a lot of my knowledge was expanded upon as far as numerology and sacred geometry from him. Now, let's start with the mile. So the mile, if we look at it through Wikipedia, excuse me, or if we just do a Google search with it, first thing that, like I want to find out the origin of the mile. And in Old English, mil, based on Latin milia, plural of mile or 1,000. The original Roman unit of distance was mil passus, 1,000 paces. So the standardized mile, just so you get the difference. So the currently standardized mile is 5,280 feet. I think it was 1953. It was stated as 1959. So why don't I just read out the actual official measurement. So in Wikipedia, the mile is an English unit of length of linear measure equal to 5,280 feet or 1,760 yards, and standardized as exactly 1,609.344 meters by international agreement in 1959. So 1959. Okay, just keep that in mind. The mile was agreed upon as 5,280 feet in 1959. The earliest that I can think of when we're talking about sacred geometry and the Greek/Romans, the Romans, we'd have to go to the Roman mile. So let's go to the Roman mile. I mean, because if I look at, say, the Italian mile, I'm going into the 17th century. The Arabic mile, it really doesn't say. British and Irish miles, but again, kind of in the medieval periods. Sorry. So we have to start at the Roman mile. Consists of 1,000 paces as measured by every other step, as in total distance of the left foot hitting the ground 1,000 times. The ancient Romans marching their armies through uncharted territory would often push a carved stick in the ground after each 1,000 paces. Well-fed and harshly driven Roman legionaries in good weather thus created longer miles. The distance was indirectly standardized by Agrippa's establishment of a standard Roman foot, Agrippa's own, in 29 BC. And this is cited in Soren 1999. So let's look at this. So as far as the date, they're saying 29 BC. It's probably as early as it is. And an imperial Roman mile thus denoted 5,000 Roman feet, because the definition of a pace is 5 feet. Okay, so here's where we get to a problem with miles. So if a mile was based off the Roman mile and 5,000 feet, we're going to start recalculating distance from kilometers. We might even have a problem with kilometers. So a lot of updates to measurements. So as you can see, what is going on? Is it? Oh, it's looking at the Firefox browser. Let's look at the. Really? Hold on. I need to bring out the desktop. Hello. What's going on here? Do I have it? Does main monitor? Give me a quick second, fellas. Let's see. There we go. And I just need to bring that down and take that away. Okay. So this I get from Marty Leeds. He goes over quite a while, and if you go into any other sacred geometry, you'll probably see the same thing. You've got squaring the circle, which is in units, not necessarily in any other measurement, just in units. Just you want to find the proportions, right? Now, equates the proportions to the moon, proportions to the earth, and you know, combine, you get 5,040 units, and then it's very, very coincidental that the globe Earth radius for the moon, or for the Earth, and the globe model for the moon, the radius is exactly the squaring of the circle as far as miles. Now, where they get the radius of the Earth and radius of the moon, well, you'll see. Let's look it up. Who first found the radius of Earth? And you'll probably say Eratosthenes. Yes, Eratosthenes. When you go to Eratosthenes, when he finds the radius of the Earth, and again, he's going to have to, one of 5 important assumptions is that the Earth is a sphere. That has to be assumed because they didn't prove that Earth was a sphere. But anyways, let's find out exactly when he did this again. And I have it in my notes already, and I could just bring that up. Let's look at my notes. Global declarations, Eratosthenes, 200 BC. Can't really find the time. Let's see. I might have gotten it off of the star thing. Dang it. Let's go back up. Ah, shit. Not what I wanted. Sorry. Just hold with me. Bear with me. So there is the Wikipedia, but I didn't get the 200 BC from there. I got it off of NASA. Who first? Okay, I think this is it. I remember it was something with NASA. Who first calculated radius of Earth? Maybe this is it. Okay, yeah. It wasn't exactly this, but it's similar. Basically, in 200 BC, and this is again imagine.js fc.nasa.gov. So this is NASA. If you're a big fan of NASA, they're telling you in 200 BC, it says that the Earth was calculated to within 1% accuracy. Eratosthenes used Aristotle's idea that the Earth was round. Blah blah blah, and it's all based on stadia. So on a stadia, out of some other metric, maybe the metric system, kilometers, and then applying that all the way back to standardized mile, then we get to the miles being around 1,080 and the Earth being around 3,960 miles. The problem is these miles for the radius of the supposed radius of the moon, supposed radius of the Earth, they are if you're gonna convert them into miles, the miles were standardized in 1959, and in Roman times, instead, if you were going by the Roman mile back in 29 BC, it was going to be 5,000 feet rather than 5,280 feet. Now, if we turn miles into kilometers, we're going to get 1 mile converted to kilometers. It's going to be 1.609344. Okay. So if we're going to get, and again, we're going to go ahead and use the moon. Let's say we get 1,080 miles, right? And we'll just do it simply. That's the 1,080. Gosh, really? We're going to get that many kilometers. It's still pretty close, right? 1738.09152. So we're going to get that result. Now remember, the conversion rate is 1.609344. Now, where was I going with this? How did I calculate that before? So what I want to do is I want to calculate this in kilometers back to the Roman miles. But then I make a mistake of the conversion rate. Where did sorry. I had this set up before, so I already kind of figured out how I would find the answer. Now I'm forgetting and doubting myself. Okay, so we got 1,738 kilometers. We want to convert that into oh, wait a second. Here's an easier way to do it. I think I found a site that would do it. To Roman miles. Let's see. Here we go. I think that was the easier way to do it. All right, so we got kilometers. Okay, we've got 1,738.09152 kilometers. Now, if we're going to convert it to Roman miles, that's messed up. Why is it going at 1.17? Doesn't make sense. Okay. Maybe it was because of the decimals. So we may have to round. 1738. Okay, so there you go. If I do a point, 09152. Oh, that was just weird. Must have been a copy and paste thing. So if we get the kilometers, so basically we started. Here's what we did. Here's what I did. Sorry. We got the supposed radius of the moon, 1,080 miles. Miles were standardized in 1959. We're going to go back. We're going to convert it. I'm sorry. We're going to convert it to kilometers. So 1,080 miles is equal to 1,738.09152 kilometers. We'll figure out the kilometers where they were made from earlier, but we're talking about miles. So if they were using miles before, and we're assuming that maybe that could be, I mean, if we're using the Roman miles, and this could be all bad, but let's just say if we're using Roman miles back then, the Roman miles would have been 1,174.54, which is not very sacred. Like, it's not very similar to squaring the circle value. It's just not too close at all. Now, if we do the same thing with 3960, we get 6,373.00224. So 6373.00224, and we're gonna get as far as the supposed radius of the Earth in Roman miles would be 4,306, which is not as close as that. I mean, basically, if you input the numbers here, it's just not gonna look very sacred. It's not gonna look very accurate. So we've got a little bit of a problem here, because all this sacred geometry of the shape of the globe Earth model couldn't have been made until after the standardization of the mile being 5,280 feet. And again, we're going to see it here. Okay, let's go ahead and move this. All right. You got this little snippet where they're saying, hey, teacher Hedon, 720 degrees, and you add that with the octahedron, 1440 degrees, and then Earth cube, 2160 degrees, and then you get that isocohedron, water, 3600 degrees. You add that up and it equals 7920 miles, which would be the circumference, not is this circumference, diameter. It would be the diameter of the Earth. All right, let's see. Yeah, diameter of the Earth, pretty close. But now let's go ahead and put that into converting it back into kilometers, because they would have figured all this out before, calculated all this sacred geometry out before 1959, right? You would think. Okay, so, and we get 12,746. So 12,746.00448. And that's not going to equal the fire plus air plus earth plus water equals the diameter of the Earth. Here in Roman miles, it's going to be 8,613. And the problem with the Roman miles even is the Roman mile was at least recorded in histories in 29 BC. However, you've already got the if you're going to put this into sacred geometry context, it's not going to be established until at least 1959. Okay, by international agreement in 1959. Which I kind of wonder if you were in a Masonic lodge, or if you're a Freemason back before 1959, would you encounter things like this, saying, "Wow, that's exact distance of the Earth in miles, or moon, or the sun. And you're gonna be wowed, but then you realize, hey, the miles. I mean, you guys, when did Freemasonry start? Pretty, like in the 1800s or something like that. When did Freemasonry start? Okay, so hey, 1717. Freemasonry started in 1717. So were they teaching this because they have sacred geometry, right? So if they have sacred geometry, which started in 1717, which they haven't established the miles as 5,280 feet until 1959. So what did they use to? Did they use kilometers? Did they use something else? What was it? Until, was it 1959, they go, hey, now we can even find the sacred geometry of the sun, earth, and moon. Yeah, smack. So the trick got solidified in 1959, which kind of makes me wonder, when did the history get like rewritten or controlled? I mean, it had to have happened at some point. And Freemasonry, when we talk about they talk about sacred geometry and everything else. As far as what Marty Leeds and a couple of other people go into, you'll see a lot of references to the shape of the Earth, or the globe, shape of the globe Earth, actually. And the thing is, shape of the globe Earth, when it's in miles, that's where you see the sacred geometry. The problem is that the mile wasn't established until 1959. And it says here, it's right here in Wikipedia, right when you do Google search. Just is very, very exoteric, open to anyone finding it. Maybe they have a different history within the Freemasonry or something like that. Who knows? That's all I wanted to point out. It seems pretty simple when I break this down. Hopefully you guys get it. Excuse me. Because if we're gonna go by the Roman miles, it's 5,000 Roman feet, which is basically 5,000 feet. 5,000 feet, because Roman, they're the ones that came up with 12 inches for a foot. Yeah, it's sneaky. I'm reading from DLive. So that's it. I mean, I want to ask questions to either Freemasons or anyone who's really big into sacred geometry, or really big into numerology, is just to ask them if the miles weren't established until 1959 as 5,280 feet, and the earliest records of a mile was the Roman mile in 29 BC by Agrippa, then how is it that we get all the sacred geometry in miles? How did that happen? I mean, shouldn't it be sacred in some other unit of measurement? I mean, I doubt the Freemasons in 1717 were using the standardized mile that was established in 1959, unless they were the ones who planned that. But I doubt they're saying, "Hey, look at the squaring the circle. Let's show that. Hey, we already know what the moon and the Earth is in, well, not in miles, but kilometers or something." So how did they showcase their sacred geometry back in 1717 without the use of miles, when we see the sacred geometry in miles, which wasn't established until almost 2 centuries later? That's a question I have to ask. Oh, Smack says, I'm subscribed to a Freemason. If you don't know any, I can get the name to you, Abon. Sure. I think I'm subscribed to the Freemason, 32nd degree Freemason that Marty Leeds interviewed once. I forget his name right now. That's all I know. I guess I'll ask. I'll probably also ask this question to Marty. He's pretty open about questions, and see how he responds. But anyways, I'll probably try to do one more video. It's gonna be hard for me to do videos at night. I'm just looking after the kids by myself for the next 2.5 days. So I'm probably gonna be tired. I'm probably not gonna have I probably don't want to be tired when I'm looking after them. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.